All right, guys, it's time to talk about Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, or as I like to call it, the best film title in the series. So Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol is a 2011 film directed by Brad Bird. It's like his first live action movie after he did like The Iron Giant, he did The Incredibles. So this is his first foray into the live action filmmaking world, and I think he did a very good job at this. And as with all these movie reviews, guys, the retro reviews, we're going to talk about the summary, give that to you, and if you've never seen it before, go back, check it out, then come back. But then we're going to talk about this and all the spoilery goodness that I can think of as I talk about this film with no limits. Whatever I feel like talking about, I'm going to talk about. So let's get that first part going now, shall we? So the film is about Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt once again for the fourth time, and they have to stop an arms dealer who is trying to launch a nuclear missile to start a new nuclear war for his own nefarious purposes. So Tom Cruise has to team up with a brand new team of agents, and unfortunately, while they have been framed for something that they did not do, they have to go off-grid and are limited in their resources, but still have to find a way to stop the bad guy at the end of the film. And that's essentially your quick little summary of that. And look, Ghost Protocol is actually the first Mission Impossible film I saw in theaters. Back in 2011, I remember seeing this in December with a friend of mine, and had such a good time with this. I had no idea I would be as in love with this franchise as I am now, but here we are 12 years later. I dig this franchise a lot, and this film, holds a lot of, this is the first one I ever saw, and from the beginning, this film is so much fun. We kind of get Tom Cruise in that prison, and that whole sequence is a lot of fun as his new teammates, are busting him out, and there's a lot of stuff going on where he's got some stuff that they don't know, and they don't really know why they're breaking him out, and everybody's got like misinformation between them. But they immediately go from that to this great little like scene in the Kremlin where they got some pretty cool technology and all that stuff. But that's where things kind of go wrong, and we get introduced to the bad guy played by Michael Nyqvist. I believe is how you say his last name. He plays Kurt Hendricks, or codename Cobalt, in the film. He's the guy who's trying to get the nuclear codes in order to launch a missile to start a nuclear war for his own purposes. Bad guy stuff. But I like that, Simon Pegg, I think I mentioned it in the last review, Simon Pegg comes into this as a full-fledged member of the team, and I am all here for it. Simon Pegg is great in this film. I like him as this character. I think his dynamic with Tom Cruise is a lot of fun, and in the story, it's his first, like, some of his first field agency stuff, and he's, like, nervous, and he's still kind of giddy about it, and he's, like, talking to Tom Cruise while they're doing things like, I think that whole character dynamic is a lot of fun and adds to this so much, and Tom Cruise, while I think the last film was his best performance, I still think he's good. He's still great in this as the team leader and keeping this team together, kind of pushing them through to achieve their mission despite eventually being framed for everything at the Kremlin, and then having to essentially, their whole organization's disavowed, so they have to literally go underground, get a secret stash of supplies and try to still save the world, which, for this film adds to the stakes. I always talk about, like, I like a film to have stakes and why I should care. Well, here they have limited resources that are, shoddy at best, stuff that isn't working, malfunctioning all the time, like in the great scene where Tom Cruise is climbing the world's tallest building, which, heck of a stunt when that film came out and Tom Cruise went down the world's tallest building and did that stunt for real. Is just mind-blowingly good, and set the trend for all the future stunts he's doing that always gets publicized now whenever one of these films comes out. But I remember at the time when that was a thing, this is what also sold me on trying to check this movie out, is Tom Cruise did that stunt on the world's tallest building. I better go see this. And it delivers. And like I said, with the technology, those gloves, he's climbing up the wall and they're malfunctioning. And I like that they add a little bit of humor in there every now and then too, like when he throws the glove off, the glove flies back upward because of all the wind and stuff and lands back on the wind. They do a real good job at balancing out some good comedic stuff with the action stuff. I think for the first time in the franchise, they start finding that good balance that makes, Mission Impossible what it is. It's, look, these are dire circumstances, but let's have a little fun with it too. I appreciate that so much. I think Brad Bird did a really good job at that. Then you bring in Jeremy Renner, and the story with Jeremy Renner coming into this franchise was that, hey, Tom Cruise can't do this forever. It's 2011, and he's pushing 50 years old. He can't be an action star forever. Well, I mean, here he is. He's 61. Just had another movie come out. He literally just said he wants to do these films till he's 80. So, shoot, who knows? But they brought Renner's character into this to kind of become like the replacement for his character for Tom Cruise down the line somewhere, it seems. And we'll talk about that in the next film too, because it doesn't last very long. But I think his character in this, Jeremy Renner's William Brandt, is interesting. He doesn't get as much to do as I would think, especially for wanting to be a replacement. But they also spend much of the movie downplaying his role. He's actually an agent, but they keep saying he's an analyst, and he's kind of hiding the fact that he's a little more skilled than he's letting off. And when Ethan Hunt figures it out, and they have that cool little standoff where they're switching the gun back and forth. I thought that was a great scene. Then you got like Paula Patton in this. I think she's great. As far as some of the other crew members Tom Cruise has had, she's one of the more charismatic ones. I like what she brings to the team. Not just the sex appeal, but I think she delivers a great performance in this and is a fitting member to this team, along with Simon Pegg and Ethan Hunt, and with Jeremy Renner's characters. Now there is one character in this that I don't think gets talked about enough that I actually kind of enjoyed this time around, and it's the Russian agent guy that's following Ethan Hunt the whole time, played by Vladimir Mashkov. He plays Anatoly Sidorov. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But he comes in from the beginning after the Kremlin bombing, and he kind of comes in and out. But I think he's a character that I was like, this guy's interesting. He's an agent that Hunt's got to deal with, and at some point Hunt has to slip information to in order to get caught, in order to have everything resolved at the end of the film, which I think that was a fun way that the story kind of kept this character in there. So I think he was kind of one of the unsung heroes of this film, because I liked him whenever he popped up in the film as well. Like I said, great team chemistry. I think this is some of the best cinematography of the series up to this point. Like I said, Brad Bird's direction is really, really good. The music's back to on point. I think the last couple of movies got the music back to where you would want the Mission Impossible franchise to be. So Michael Giacchino comes in. He's a great composer. I like that he did this film, got everything back up to par. The last couple of movies have been really good. I forget who did the third film. It might have been Giacchino again. I could be wrong. But, anyway, great score here, great music. And I just think, still a little long. There's some points where it kind of lulled for me. But on the whole, though, this is a film with a lot of great action in it, and it just moves at a great pace. There's a lot of great sequences in this that I really dug. Like I said, I mentioned the prison sequence at the beginning. I mentioned the building scene, which I think is great. But then there's also some stuff where there's a clever scene, I think, when Ethan Hunt is getting his debriefing with the Secretary of State, with Brandt. Their car gets put in the water, and Hunt has to save Brandt. And he essentially uses a flare with the dead body and pushes it out to draw fire from him, which I thought was interesting, and that was kind of cool. A little morbid, but pretty cool. Then there's a great scene, everything at the end of the carport. I thought that scene was kind of cool, very creative, and they definitely ramped up the tension there at the end, with Cruise trying to get the briefcase. You got the rest of his team trying to get the power back on at this station, and then also get the stuff back into the hard drive, or the hard drives or whatever, back into the mainframe or whatever they called it. And all that tension is them working as a team to get it, before this bomb detonates in San Francisco. I want to say is where it was going, whatever bay in San Francisco. That's got to be what it is. But it's just, you're on the edge of your seat. You're waiting for this thing. You think they might have gotten it, and they keep you in that tension up really high till that last second. And I think that was a pretty good job. I think Bird does so much great stuff with this film. This is the one I think a lot of people will turn to and say this might be their favorite or the best Mission Impossible movie, and I could totally see why. I still think this is really good. It is the best of the series so far, and that's why I'm going to give this film an A-. It is so good. Still some stuff here and there that I think will get improved upon, and we'll talk about that in the next film. But yeah, I mean, this is a series that is, at this point, firing on all cylinders, and again, that trajectory is continuing to go up. It's only going to get better from here, which is crazy to say about a franchise only 4 movies in. At a lot of points, franchises are losing steam, but Mission Impossible is gaining steam and gaining traction here, and I'm all here for it. That's why I wanted to get back through and get to these films. But what do you guys think? What is your favorite Mission Impossible movie? And what do you think of Ghost Protocol? Leave all your comments down in the comment section below. If you could also please hit that like button, subscribe button, the little bell notification, be notified whenever I drop new videos. It would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, I guess even at the end, real quick, I like that they brought Michelle Monaghan back and showed that Tom Cruise and her, they had a whole story bit about what happened to his wife. And is she dead? Is she not? Well, she's alive. He's protecting her, but it's that superhero thing where he had to, leave her to save her kind of thing. And they kind of wrapped that up in a little bow at the end of the film. And I thought that was a little sweet, nice little nod, especially after watching the third one. So, yeah, there we go, guys. And, I can't wait to talk about Rogue Nation, which might be my favorite film in the franchise. Spoiler alert, but we'll get to that one in a little bit. And until then, guys, I'll be seeing you.